For sounds all around. Pitter, patter, patter is the sound of the rain, and a tiny rumble hum must be a passing train. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh sway the branches through the breeze, and drip, drop, plop drip the raindrops from the leaves. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, sings my sister's baby toy, and that tiny wail through the wall must be next door's little boy. Chugga chugga brum as a car starts down the street. Rustle nussle brush as my toes play with the sheet. These are all the sounds I hear moving around my head if I stop to listen to the world whilst lying on my bed. The sum of my class. In my class there are 30 children, so if you think about it, that means there are 30 mouths and 30 noses and 30 chins and heads, 60 eyes and 60 ears and 60 arms and legs, 60 hands and 60 feet mean 60 socks and shoes, and 60 gloves in coat pockets we are careful not to lose. This next one I don't think that our teacher even knows. With 30 children and 60 feet, my class has 300 toes. 300 fingers too, but some of those are thumbs. So many amazing things to learn when you're doing sums. Big babies. Everyone was a baby once, even you and me, even your head teacher, even your mummy. Everyone wore nappies once and cried when they weren't clean, even a brave policeman, even the English Queen. Everyone once crawled around before walking on their feet, even the fastest runner or an Olympic athlete. Everyone babbled baby talk, not words like you or me, even people who sing on stage or the newsreaders on TV. So if you think little babies are daft and they can't copy the things you do, remember it wasn't so long ago that you were a baby too. And remember that every grown-up, with the clever things they explain, was once a little baby too, and we all started out the same. Happy. Happy can be running down a hill extremely fast, or it can be lying on a comfy chair, feeling all relaxed. Happy can be a train ride, off to somewhere new, or it can be playing in your bedroom with a game that's fun to do. Happy can be dancing at a party with your friends, or it can be reading calmly, wondering how the story ends. Happy can be puddles splashing, or just drawing for a while. Happy can be anything you do that makes you smile. Drawing pictures. Sometimes, when I draw a picture, I try to make it super neat. I copy what I'm looking at until I'm sure it looks complete. Sometimes, when I draw a picture, I let the colours slip and slide. In the end, it might not look like much, but it is how I feel inside. When I'm drawing carefully, I know what it is going to be, but if I just swirl colours around, it's like the picture is drawing me. The birthday cake. Candles on the birthday cake, all lit and flickering bright. I'll close my eyes and make a wish. I hope I do it right. Everyone gathers around to watch. The lights are turned down low. It's almost time for them to sing, and for me to puff and blow. The singing starts and I feel proud as I listen to the song. The candles make my face feel warm, until puff, all the flames are gone. The bubble. Once I caught a bubble. It wasn't something I had planned. All the others went pop, 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 but this one settled in my hand. It looked all wet like water and had a rainbow shine inside. My friends all gathered around to see, so I held it up with pride. Time moved by so slowly, and then it popped like we all feared. I tried to catch more in my hands, but the rest all burst and disappeared. Hide and seek. Hide and seek, and I'm under the covers, trying so hard not to giggle. The counting's done, and in you come. I won't move at all, not a wiggle. Now where could they be, I hear you say, and the waiting tingles my tummy. I let out a squeal, now you'll find me for real. I don't know what makes hiding so funny. A million stars. My mum says our sky is full of millions of stars and billions of planets like Earth, Jupiter and Mars. And those stars all look little as they twinkle in the night. Closer up they're massive balls of fire, gas and light. They are actually gigantic suns like ours that lights up every day. They just look so small and twinkly as they are all so far away. Some stars are 10 times bigger than our sun that sets and rises. And space is a huge mystery with never-ending new surprises. One day I'll build a rocket and I'll go and see them all. But space goes on forever, and we're only very small. Mum says there's things and places we may not ever understand, but that's why our lives are special. And then she took my hand. There's always more for us to learn and more to make us wonder. And as we watched the stars all twinkle, our eyes were also twinkling under. The Lion That Learned to Roar. A young lion cub was learning to roar. His little voice was trying and he gave it what for, but each sound that came out didn't quite belong. The poor little lion kept getting it wrong. "Here goes," he said, and out came a great moo. That didn't sound right. What was he to do? Try again, he thought, and out came a woof woof. Why did that happen? This roaring is tough. "One more go," he said, and this time he went neigh. He sat in a sulk. "I won't be roaring today." The other lions were listening and thought it was funny, but the lion cub was sad, so went to speak to his mummy. "I can't roar," he said, "whatever I do. Each time I try, it sounds nothing like you." "Let me hear," said his mum. "Where do you get stuck?" So the lion tried again, but this time went cluck cluck. "Oh, I see what you mean," she said. "How bizarre." Then oink oink went the lion, the worst one by far. "Try once more," she said. So meow went the cub. "That's closer, but it still doesn't sound as it should." "Why can't I do it?" the lion cub asked with a cry. "I can't make the right sound whatever I try." His mummy had a think, but needed to know more. "What are you thinking of when you try to roar?" "I'm thinking of the lions that are bigger than me, all the big scary lions that roar easily." His mum then smiled and said, "I think I know why. It isn't quite working. Let's have one more try. This time don't think about others, instead only you. Your roar comes from inside and is your roar to do." "But I'm not big yet," the cub said. "Are you sure this will work?" "Yes, you're still a lion," his mummy replied with a smirk. So he took a deep breath, and although not quite sure, he looked deep down within him, and out came his first roar. Be like me. Bee, the bumblebee, bumbled off to her flowers, where she'd buzzed between them and a hive then for hours. No time for a breather, or to rest her poor head. She's got to keep buzzing to the old flower bed. Bee is a worker, just like her sisters, and even when tired and she starts to get blisters, she has to pick up that pollen every day. It's as plain as her stripes, there is no other way. Until one morning, when she took off through the air, she arrived to find her flower bed wasn't there. There was concrete and gravel put there in its place. Now you should have seen the look on poor Bee's face. "I can't go back with nothing, this is terribly bad." So poor Bee stopped for a minute, feeling incredibly sad. Then she saw a web flicker in the sun by her side, and a spider crept over with a smile that was wide. "I've seen you come here back and forth now for days. How you keep going, I'm completely amazed. Be like me and build a web that is sticky, and bring the flowers to you, it would be far less tricky." "I can't," replied Bee, "I've not got the tools, and the flowers aren't like flies. You can't attract them like fools. I need to find more, but I don't know where to go." "Why bother?" asked the spider. "I'd like to know." "I pick up their pollen to bring back to our queen, where we turn it to honey, the sweetest you've seen. It's food for her babies, she can't feed them alone. The hive needs its workers, and the hive is my home." Then a snail, who was listening as he slimed down the track, said, "Be like me and take your hive on your back. Although it's quite heavy and makes you quite slow, you're always at home wherever you go." Bee replied, "But my hive has thousands of bees. That's why we make beehives on the sides of big trees." "If there's so many bees," the snail asked, "as you say, what difference would it be if one didn't stay? You could make a small hive to wear like a pack. With your very own beehive, you wouldn't need to go back." Bee said worker bees work for all of our lives. We could never leave our duties and abandon our hives. The others shook their heads. It didn't sound like much fun. They couldn't imagine working like that for anyone. Then along came an ant who said, "I know what you mean. I'm one of thousands who serves just one queen. Together we're something far bigger than ourselves. We must all play our part and must play it well." Bee gave a smile and the ant carried on. "Besides, we need bees. Trust me, I'm not wrong. It is very important you work when it's sunny. For bees do far more than just make up honey. Going flower to flower with pollen as you go is actually what makes new flowers grow. Without your hard work, we'd all soon be in trouble. So be like me, Bee. Get back to work on the double." Bee nodded yes, that's why I must keep on going. Out there somewhere there must be more flowers growing. It isn't just bees, though you may not see it yet. It is the same for us all, so don't you forget. We all make a difference, even though we're so small. The world keeps on turning because of us all. Bee jumped back up and took off through the air, and they watched her get smaller until no longer there. "Will she find more flowers?" the snail asked hopefully. "Yes," said the ant. "Some things are just meant to be." The nest is best. A bird, still a chick, covered with fresh new feather, was pointing his head out, judging the weather. Judging if now was the time, or maybe if weather, tomorrow would actually be a bit better. The clouds look a bit dark. No, I'm not too impressed. I think that in fact the nest would be best. So he popped his head back in and relieved gave a sigh. Tomorrow perhaps I'll set off for the sky. Last week his brothers and sisters all left one by one. They all thought that flying looked like so much fun. He heard how they laughed as they all took to leap, but when he peeks over, the drop looks so steep. The bird's mother swooped down with a grub in her beak, exhausted after doing this week after week. She knows it's not easy leaving the nest, but he's getting so big now, a chat would be best. Besides, it's not fair to be always out flapping, gathering meals while this little one's napping. For new chicks it's okay and perfectly fine, but he's not a baby anymore, so now is the time. "Darling," she sang as he gobbled down his meal, "let's have a talk, I want to know how you feel." "I'm great," smiled the bird as he shook out his wing. "But as well as these grubs next time, do you think you could bring—" "I've got an idea," she cut in straight away. "Why don't you go out and find your next grub for today? Just spread out your wings, give a flap and then fly, leave this nest far behind and discover the sky." "Maybe tomorrow," the chick said sheepishly. "I'll stay here for today, but tomorrow we'll see." "I know that it's scary," his mum said with a smile, "but I'm sorry to say I think you're in denial. Tomorrow, but never today. Life is for living, not hiding away. Nests are for babies, too little to fly, not young birds like you, unwilling to try. Tell me what's stopping you. Why not just go?" And the chick peered over once more, but shook his head no. "What if I stumble when high in the air, lose my way, go too far, end up anywhere? And cats with their claws or cars with their wheels, up here I'll never know how each of those feels. And what if I can't find any grubs on my own? I'll be freezing and no more than feather and bone. I see other birds flying and I do like their song, but up here I know that nothing can go wrong." His mother looked into her son's beady eyes. "But there's so much you're missing, life is such a surprise. You were made to fly high and hang out on the breeze, and to scurry your way through the branches and trees. Yes, there are dangers, I can't promise there won't be. Cats might jump out if you hobble too slowly. The truth is, what's waiting, I really don't know. But that is exactly why you have to go. The scariest thing that could possibly be is if you decide not to listen to me, and instead of seeing all the things that you should, and becoming all the things in the world that you could, if you stay up here in this nest so small, all that can happen is nothing at all. The chick looked at the view. He wasn't really prepared, but to his surprise, he felt a little less scared. His mother smiled at him sweetly, and it felt like goodbye. So is the nest still best, or shall we give it a try? And then he peered over one last time with a shiver, spread out his two wings, and in the breeze felt them quiver. Then with a jump and a flap, he was suddenly flying. He didn't know where he'd go, but he knew he was trying. The Old Tree by the Park. There's an old tree in the play park, way older than me. My mum says it's over 100 easily. Its trunk is enormous and it stands up so high. It was born underground, but now lives in the sky. To get as big as this tree, it would take a long time. It's a great tree for games, but it's too big to climb. Now when I try, all the grown-ups shout stop. But when I grow up, I'll get to the top. We always count by it when we play hide and seek. Eyes must be closed, but sometimes I peek. Nobody knows except maybe the tree, but it never tells. The secret is between it and me. I have seen many games played under my branches, so many chases, races and dances, so many hiders and so many seekers, quick find a place and so many peekers. I love the laughter as the children all play, as I know that it all soon changes one day. I've seen so many happy young girls and boys sprout into adults who forget about toys. All the fun and games soon makes way for worry, as they think about cars, appointments and money. When they used to spin around so fast they'd get dizzy, in a flurry of seasons, they're all soon too busy. You might think it will take a long time to grow older, but before you know, time will come tap on your shoulder. It's time to grow up now, so leave those games at the door. Then hide, seek and peeking will all soon be no more. It happens so fast, all the changes I see. As a long year for you is just a moment for me. I watch you grow up in a matter of minutes, and the bigger you get, the less tree playing visits. So next time you're playing and out having fun, remember your playtime has just begun, and enjoy every game, because one day as you grow, you may be asked to play, but instead you'll say no. You'll be thinking of things that are bigger than playing, like what you need to buy next and how much you'll be paying. So remember my words as your games turn to worry. Be more like a tree, don't grow up in a hurry.